My name is Garrett Morgan. I was born on March 4th, 1877 in Paris, Kentucky. My parents were Sidney Morgan and Elizabeth Reed. My brother was Frank Morgan. I only received an elementary school education. I started my career as a sewing machine mechanic, but later invented a more advanced sewing machine, hair straightening parts, travel light, and gas masks used in World War I. I also started a hair products company called Morgan Hair Refining Company. I sold hair creams to African Americans. My wife's name was Mary Ann Hassett. Our children's names were Cosmo, John, and Garrett Morgan Jr. I died on July 27th, 1963 from breathing in chemicals while testing on my gas mask inventions.
My name is Jackie Robinson. My name is Jackie Roosevelt Robinson. I was born on January 31st, 1919 in Cairo, Georgia. The college I went to was UCLA, where I excelled in baseball, basketball, football, and track. I played in the Negro Leagues for the Kansas City Monarchs. I was deployed in World War II in Fort Riley, Kansas. I was the first African American person to play Major League Baseball in 1947. I signed with the Brooklyn Dodgers. The person I was married to was Rachel Robinson. We had 3 children, David Robinson, Sharon Robinson, and Jackie Robinson Jr. I got into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1962. I died on October 27, 1972, at the age of 53 from a heart attack.
I am Greenville T Woods. I was born on April 23, 1856 in Columbus, Ohio. I have 3 siblings, Gladys, Rachel, and Henrietta Woods. My parents are Cyrus and Martha Woods. And when I was in college, I studied mechanical and electrical engineering. In my early career, I took a variety of jobs, such as a railroad engineer. I got married to Ada, but then we got a divorce. After that, I got remarried to a woman named Gabriella. We had a son named Jack. I am a great inventor. I was known as the Black Edison. I created over 50 different inventions. One thing I did was the multiplex telegraph. The multiplex telegraph allowed people to communicate by voice over telegraph. It helped to speed up important communications and prevent errors such as train accidents. Thomas Edison wanted me to be his partner, but I refused. Some of my other inventions I created were the telephone transmitter and the trolley wheel. I died on January 30th, 1910 in New York. I died from cerebral hemorrhage at Harlem Hospital.
My name is Mrs. Fleetwood Walker. I was born October 7th, 1857 in Mount Pleasant, Ohio. I have 6 siblings. I went to Oberlin College and the University of Michigan. My first wife was Arabella Taylor. We had 3 children, but eventually we divorced. Then I married another woman named Edna Mason. I was the first black man to play Major League Baseball. I played for the Toronto Blue Stockings from 1878 to 1881. In 1884, the Toronto Blue Stockings went from minor league to major league. Although many people didn't like that I played because of the color of my skin, I wouldn't let that stop me. I signed on for the New York Little Giants and the Syracuse Stars. I got released August 23rd, 1889. Then I designed an outer casing for an artillery shell called the Justin Gun. In 1891, a group of white men attacked me and I stabbed one. I pleaded to the judges that it was just self-defense, which later I was found not guilty. Unfortunately, they still charged me. I owned a Union Hotel in Steubenville, Ohio, a movie theater called the Opera House, and another called the Temple Theater. I died May 26, 1920 from pneumonia. In 1991, I got voted into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
My name is C.J. Walker, and I was born in Delta, Louisiana, December the 23rd, 1867. My parents and 5 siblings and I were born slaves. When I was 14, I got married to Moses Matt William. I was a widow at 20. Then I had a daughter named Alea. Then I moved to St. Louis, which is where I met my second husband, Charles Walker. Due to script, I lost a lot of my hair. This made me make hair products for black women. My company grew so big, I hired salesmen to sell my product. I was the first female businesswoman, African American.
I'm Dorothy Gingrich. I was born on November 9th, 1922 in Cleveland, Ohio, but I moved to Los Angeles, California at a very young age. My mother was an entertainer and comedic actress, but she left my father when she was pregnant, so I never knew him. My little sister Vivian and I began performing publicly as children, and in 1930, we joined a singing and dancing group with a girl named Etta Jones. In the 1940s and 50s, I got a few roles in some films and I became a successful nightclub singer. I sung in famous nightclubs all over the country, but in some places in the South, I was allowed to sing on stage, but I was not allowed to eat at the restaurants or use the bathrooms because of the color of my skin. I married a man named Harold and we had a daughter named Haroldin. My marriage did not last long. After my divorce, I sung in famous nightclubs all over the world and got the lead role in a film called Carmen Jones. I was the first African American to receive an Academy Award nomination for the Best Actress. Unfortunately, I lost to Grace Kelly. On 1965, I was found dead at my apartment in West Hollywood. I was either a victim of an accidental drug overdose or I committed suicide.
My name is Katherine Johnson. I was born in White Silver Springs, West Virginia, August 26, 1918. I had 2 older brothers named Horace and Charles. I also had an older sister named Margaret. I was really good at mathematics. I went to high school when I was 10 and went to college at the age 15 and graduated at 18. I went to West Virginia University to study math. I met James Goebel and we were married from 1939 to 1956 when he died. We had 3 daughters, Catherine, Constance, and Joylette. I remarried in 1959 to a man named Jim Johnson. I outlived him as well. I was one of the first African American women to work as a NASA scientist. I worked for NASA for 33 years. During that time, I pioneered the use of computers. I calculated out flight trajectories, emergency return paths, and launch windows. I helped calculate out flight trajectories for America's first flight to the moon. I even worked on a mission to Mars. In 2015, President Barack Obama awarded me with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I died on February 24th, 2020 at the age 101.
Alice Augusta Ball. I was born on July 24th, 1892 at the age of 92. I have three siblings, William, Robert, and Natty. My parents were Laura Lewis and James Ball. My family and I moved to Honolulu, Hawaii in 1903, but returned to Seattle after a year my grandfather died. Once back in Seattle, I went to Seattle High School. I then studied chemistry at the University of Hawaii, making me the first woman and African American to receive a master's degree at the University of Hawaii. After graduating, I became a chemistry professor at the university. I developed the Ball method, which was the most effective treatment of leprosy in the 1900s. I died on December 31st, 1916 at the age of 24 from chlorine poisoning due to exposure while teaching in a laboratory.
My name is Meg Carol Gibson. I was born on October 17, 1956 in Decatur, Alabama. When I was 3, my family moved to Chicago, Illinois to take advantage of better educational opportunities. At a very young age, my uncle introduced me to the world of science. I developed interest in anthropology, archaeology, and astronomy. In 1973, I graduated from Morgan Park High School and went to Stanford University at the age of 16. In 1983, Sally Ride became the first American woman in space. That inspired me, so I decided to apply to the astronaut training program at NASA. In 1987, I became the first African American woman to be admitted into the astronaut training program with NASA. In 1988, I completed my training as a mission specialist with NASA. In 1992, I followed into space with 6 other astronauts aboard the Endeavour on mission STS-47. I became the first African American woman in space. In recognition of my accomplishments, I received several awards and honor documents. I was too busy to get married or have kids. On March 1993, I retired. Now I'm 65 years old, living my best life.
I'm Wilma Rudolph. I was born on June 23rd, 1940 in Bethlehem, Tennessee. My parents are Blanche and Ed Rudolph. I'm one of 22 children. At the age of 4, I was paralyzed from the waist down with polio. I had scarlet fever and double pneumonia. When I went to the doctor, he said I might never walk again, but I got my strength back. I started running track and I was very fast. I ran in the 1956 Olympics in Australia and won a bronze medal. 4 years later, I ran in the 1960 Olympics in Rome, and I'm the first American woman to win 3 gold medals in the Olympics. But I stopped competing and became a 2nd grade teacher. I went to Tennessee State University and met Robert. We have 4 kids, and after 17 years, we divorced. I died because of brain cancer on November 12, 1994 in Nashville, Tennessee.
My name is James Cleveland, but my family call me JC. Because of a teacher's misunderstanding of my name in elementary school, I started to get called Jessie. I was born on September 12, 1913 in Oakville, Alabama. I was the youngest of 3 sisters and 7 brothers. My father was a sharecropper and my grandparents were slaves. In 1922, my family moved to Cleveland, Ohio for better opportunities. I went to East Cleveland Technical High School. There I equaled the world record in the 100-yard dash, and I set a new record in the 220-yard dash. I was fast. In high school, I met my future wife, Minnie Ruth, and we got married in 1935 and had 3 daughters. Then I went to Ohio State University. I competed in the 1936 Olympics in Berlin and won 4 gold medals. I became the first American track and field athlete to win 4 gold medals at an Olympic Games. I died on March 31st, 1980 at the age of 66 from lung cancer.
My name is Shirley Crisholm. I was born November 30th, 1924. I was the first African American woman elected to Congress. I was also a co-founder of the National Organization for Women. In 1970, I published the book The Unbought and Unbossed. Then, in 1972, I became the first African American woman to run for president, but I did not win. In 1973, I published the book The Good Fight. Then, in 1983, I ended my term as a congresswoman. Then Bill Clinton nominated me to be the U.S. Ambassador of Jamaica, but I withdrew due to ill health. I died January 1st, 2005.